Uh-oh, it's red alert time. One and all, welcome back to our semi-finals between Wham and Vortex. And Vortex is being used as a doorstep for Wham on his way to the grand finals. We are now looking at a series where Vortex could get 3-0 annihilated by the Canadian. We said he was back with a fury this week, and he wasn't kidding. Byzantines versus Jeanne could decide this, and this is an interesting matchup, actually. One where Biz can get an inherent edge as long as they keep an eye on what you're up to. Jeanne can get the lead by being very stealthy about their transitions. And with the Pro Scouts meta, that becomes a bit easier to do here. Yeah, looking at the deer spawn as well. Well, this one is nicely defendable, but the secondary of the tree line, maybe if Wham want to go for a wall. In the old meta, you would have just walled this off, and it's very hard for Pro Scouts. But in the new meta, with how long it takes, I'm not really sure that's an option anymore you can consider here. Wham so far looking at, what, 13 sheep? 12 on the other side, so that should be pretty much the sheep split as it is. There's like 2 more, I think, for Vortex. Overall, good haul for sure. Other things that could be key here. Yeah, look at the berries. Okay, this is very interesting now. So my thought is Vortex just goes Pro Scouts, right? Just play the standard format, get the big edge. Yay! Okay, what if instead he took a slightly more aggressive line? This doesn't feel like a good spawn for Wham at all. Is triple berry essentially forward? Both tree lines retracted behind, only protecting gold and stone, which is irrelevant. That's another thing that I think can sometimes make Byzantines a bit awkward on this map, by the way. The stone being further away, one of the negatives is if you're a player that likes to rush extra assistant levels, you have to alter your build here because it's too far out. But I don't think the stone's the important detail. I think the fact that the berries and the gold are all here is going to matter a lot more. Why don't players go gold? Because they're all noobs and need to learn how to play Coastal Cliffs. You know, clearly, if they wanted to practice, they would come over here with Japanese Shinobi and Chun down to the low ground in preparation for the Japanese hybrid civ, or variant civ rather, that is going to be the Hanzo Hotori clan, where the villagers have a blink ability. It'll become very handy when those are released. Wait, were we not meant to talk about that, Beastie? Oh. Whoops. Wait, did we just educate Beastie? Does he now owe me 10% of his prize pool earnings? Yeah, you can just walk around here. And then blink back up. It's RNG, because sometimes the cliffs aren't thin enough, but it can be. Like here. Boink! I'm going to need to see that now in the grand finals, mate. So Outpost coming up. Smart reaction by Wham. He's seen the spawn. We talked about the negatives. This is going to resolve the problem before it even begins. Vortex. Yay. I think he was considering it as well. Like, look at the fact he didn't actually have enough gold for Pro Scouts at the beginning of Feudal Age. I think Vortex was considering rushing the Ford. Okay, Beastie. I'm curious if you knew this one, actually. This is fun, like little questionnaires. Did you know that you can Shinobi blink on Canal to the other side? It's been one of my favorite little trivias because a lot of players didn't ever realize this. You wanted a water map for them? There we go. Does that mean I need to bring Canal back into midweek musters? Whew. Killed a lot of villages with it? Hell yeah, brother. Yeah, I was surprised how little I got leverage considering how strong it was when people would wall that map. It's also just the difference in timing to get places. It kind of, like, here's the thing. It's awkward because, like, Shinobi are one civ exists type situation, right? But I kind of wish there were more unique map interaction points like that. Like, that was one of the cool things. Probably the only cool thing about Hidden Valley is that you could Shunshin to the center and then Shunshin to the other side. That was the only cool thing about that map. But this is cool from Wham. What is... We're getting neutrals. Wait, is he going to build... No. Surely not. Is he going to build knights against a knight civ? Why else would this villager be here right now? There we go. Yeah, it is. It's the Mercenary house. Okay, this is unexpected, but pretty freaking cool. The concept being is that Jeanne hates heavy cavalry, so you can snipe her. I'm not sure if I buy into it fully when, like, you know, your opponent is going to have a lot more knights than you. And this is going to make it worse. No. He already knows. Vortex gets the info. Oh, good guy Vortex just actually pops a torch on it. Says, by the way, just in case you didn't know, I see this. Okay, so positives of this from this wall. This is actually the thing that we were talking about earlier. Oh, okay. Oh. Oh, come on. Can one thing go right for him in this game? The body blocks as well. Vortex knows he's got that kill. Second hit, and now Jeanne dunk. First blood drawn. But, guys, he got the Mercenary. I don't think he wants the Mercenary house. There's a second knight coming. Jeanne's coming back. I don't think 2 knights will be able to kill her quick enough if you kite this right. And remember, these knights are never getting chivalry ever in a million years. Unless you go all the way to Imperial. I just don't see us getting to Imperial here. Oof. Sorry, Beastie. Rules are rules. Check back in 2 or 3 minutes. Alright, so Merc House has at least got the knights out quickly, but look at it. Now you're just ring your rosies. And the thing is, if you do this, you stand still with the knights, you're pretty much always going to hit. Jeanne has used the Divine Arrow already. Wait. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, that's sick. That was sick. He intentionally went into the choke point and pulled out the other side so that the rally would take him the other way around. So only one knight gets through. He gets the snipe on it and gets away just before the Limitane arrive. That was incredible. And now we got Divine Restoration, so this is just not a kill. Wham is blowing a lot of spearmen, and Vortex now easily able to react with his own archery play. So what's the next step here for Wham? Is it to go Horseman to bring this back around? Unit can counter Jeanne, can counter the archer play. He can't just be doing Limitane Knights, right? Whoopsie, that was a misclick. No, there's no way this is just Limitane Knights. Was the goal originally to just harass and go castle? I don't know, man. I'm just not really seeing the picture entirely here. I think this was a timing play by Wham of surprise. It's like his opponent doesn't know about the knights. He builds up to 4 knights. He has Mass Limitane to hold. And then he can snipe Jeanne and take the fights. But that hasn't happened here. Wham has got a new group of knights coming out. Remember, these do produce very quickly. That's one of the unique things about the neutral trade posts. 50% increased production rate. Which you can then accelerate further if you chain assistant in later. Yep, you heard that correctly. Okay, so Wham can try to raid. This is another thing that's interesting about this conceptually. If this was a non-Pro Scouts meta, I actually kind of want to say I rate this play. Because that would give you knights to flank raid onto pocket economies. Because remember, before Pro Scouts, French would be out here gathering deer, out here gathering berries. But where this kind of feels like it sucks is in this current meta. Because everything is congested underneath the base. We've even got the V for Victory walls coming up. Well, more of a J here. But remember, for Vortex, his food income is going to be here for a very long time. His gold is easily protected and inch-led. His tree lines are way too close to base. So a handful of knights don't really have a clear target. Dornhorn Town now coming in, so there it is. It's going to be the bypassing the castle that we were talking about before. The problem is, Wham didn't really get anything out of playing this feudal. He got to live. He didn't really get to thrive, though. Does just about stay away with that knight instead of feeding more XP. Psych! Another 24 in the bag. Actually, no. Oh, no. So one thing that's kind of comedial with Jeanne is her XP generation is dictated by her range. By the radius within her. It doesn't matter if she gets the hit. But that goes both ways. Because it doesn't actually track hit progress, she just got a kill there on a unit out of range and got 0 XP for it. Can someone time out Jiggly? Beastie, it sounds like you need to be watching the stream more, mate. Golden Horn Tower is going to be coming through. I don't think Vortex has enough to dive with, but you can see his own tech timing isn't really far off here. So what do you look to do now? Guildhall. Okay. Vortex is showing quite a lot of respect at this point in the game from Wham. Maybe it's the fact he doesn't know what contract he's up against. Because remember, Wham only built knights. Like that's an interesting element of trade post play, by the way, is you don't actually reveal your selection. That can really hinder your opponent's ability to play the game. Like if your opponent is a range spamming Civ, then they can't really just rush range against jabs. Vice versa against Lombos, you can't just consider going like a 1-1-1 here if you felt you needed this Vortex. But we can see what it's going to be. Is Lombos on the way? The problem here is the moment you build the Golden Horn Tower, you can't wait any longer because if you still don't make a choice, you're just going to get more knights. Sounds great in theory, but as we've seen, hasn't really worked out for Wham well here. Actually, to be honest, he won't even get the knights, right? He lost, yeah. Oh. What if the intent wasn't to ever pick Lombos? Now that's interesting. I legit think what happened here is that he was planning to rush castle, get knights, get more knights, get more knights. I think he just wanted to spam knights. And the Golden Horn Tower would have given him the additional surplus to justify it. Over time, the olive oil would have meant that he'd never run out of the food to build more knights, but Vortex would. It's a long play. It doesn't work out perfectly if you, like, you know, miss your timing, but I could kind of see the value in never actually getting... At least not until you got, like, 2 or 3 tickets, right? Because you need it eventually due to the fact that you need... No, sorry, no, you don't. You can get veterancy without selecting a contract. I mean, it would have been cool to see, but Vortex is just too on it. Maybe on a map where there is 2 trade posts, rather, this could work, like a Dry Arabia-esque map, or Lipany would make sense. But yeah, on Coastal, it's just so hard to hide these players. Dive now coming in. Outposts are going to make this a little bit tricky. Vortex... It's not quite there yet. We do have Ordnance Company on the way, so we're about to actually see him make even bigger savings while scaling additional knights here. Not just that way. If we got the scouts still snatching more, we have. Oh man, and Wham needs it as well. He's ran out of food, right? Yeah, he's only got 2 sheep left over, so you either go mass farms now or you try to circumvent. And right now, he needs to blob more troops. Knights are going to start clashing on the front side. Jeanne should easily get level 3 from this fight. I'll be too far away, actually. Whoa. Should get level 3. Oh. Should is the optimal word in this situation. Won't actually is the correct word. Yeah, that was a little bit of overextension there by Vortex in the end. Wasn't able to get the outpost kills quickly as he was hoping. So well played by Wham to remove the XP threat. Now he feels a little bit unleashed to take the fight. That count is still pretty scary here, but at this stage, Wham probably starting to realize this is not going to be the Raw Institute play. You might have seen Cancel Saddles by now. You probably should be seeing Raw Bloodlines starting to kick in. In some ways, Wham, like, he might give it another 30 to 45 seconds of suspicion, which is why he's still taking those fights to try and get rid of the injured knights here before they'd see an effective, huge inflation in HP. Night dive. I mean, I'm not going to say they're carrying these fights, but they're complicating it. Vortex has to be really on point with his archer micro, otherwise he wastes a lot of shots in these. Is there a chance that World's Edge will increase the prize pool for midweek muster after the first circle, since it's going that well? Quite possibly. I say the better the streams do, the higher the averages climb, the more likely a renewal a bigger amount is. That's my goal, right? Like, you know, I always said when we start midweek muster, we wanted to start at a reasonable standpoint. We didn't want to overinflate and over promise and then under deliver. I wanted to be able to build it, prove the concept, and then build it logically. But, you know, if we continue to trend upwards on numbers, you know, I don't think it's overly brazen to say that I realistically could see a world in which, you know, 20,000 in budgeting is possible. Got to keep sharing those streams around, guys. Keep getting the people involved. Glad to see a lot of the top-level players are taking the value of it for real as well. You know, participation now, I hate selling the idea of, like, participation now guarantees more later, right? But, like, it is one of those examples of the situations. So Knights are going to try to go around the back here. It looks like Vortex hasn't fully walled himself in. Relic split in the end is going to favor Wham. Considering how this game began, I think he's in a relatively good position. But the Guildhall threat is a worrisome detail here. On a map like Coastal, it can easily obliterate your opportunity to push. Remember, it's a more linear map, a more squished map. So Red Palace defense becomes almost an undeniable thing you have to go through instead of around. Oh, Red Bull time. Guys, can you guess the flavor from the sound? Ready? Did you get that? Bro, how, like, okay, laid back is a go. Laid back is actually a go. I think... So, Alex, you're wrong. It's not sugar-free. Sorry. It's the red edition. Got them melons. BC, you would have been right yesterday. We had the, what's it called? The iced vanilla berry yesterday, which apparently is gummy bear flavored. Whew. I wonder... No blood here, guys. It's just melon juice on the ground. So, nice little raid there. Meanwhile, Jeanne... Oh, she's gone! Is it me? Or is Vortex about to get 3-0? This is a bit worrisome, maybe, though. Oh! Hello! He's breaking through to the back line. The Mangonel Tower is a problem here, and the Knight count is getting low. The Landsknecht are also getting good swings in. He's not targeting the last of them. Are you kidding me? That's it! It's a 3-0! Canada versus Serbia. We're going to get an NA-EU showdown. And with the way Wham has played in this semi-finals, Beastie must have the notebook loaded full and ready to go because he's going to need to. The Canadian turned up this week, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen in that best of 7.